This is a 160 Q&A practice test. Plaintiff attorney Mr. Wallace, capital W-A-L-L-A-C-E. Defense attorney Ms. MS period Davis, capital D-A-V-I-S. We'll start with defense attorney. Ready? How did you start to gather information about who to call? I just started looking through her records. She had filing cabinets next to her computer. It was kind of her business workstation, I guess. Just started looking through the files, turned her computer on, and there was actually she had an icon that was named Anne's Friends. Clicked on that, and her friends basically popped right up with phone numbers. Was this a laptop? It was. Okay, and what did you do first? You talked about going online with her phone records, or did you call friends first? Well, we got the phone list of her friends and started calling them, and I guess you could probably say it kind of all went down at the same time. We were calling friends. It was me and Scott, and Kelly Crust was calling friends as well. And we were kind of working on getting her phone records at the same time. How soon did Kelly Crust arrive? How long were you and Scott there together before she arrived? I'm going to estimate and say between 6, something like that. What's that? She arrived like 6 or 7, something like that. Yeah, she was there a few hours before I got there, I believe. She was one of the first people, that we called of her friends. Now tell me about this online search. You tried calling her phone and it was full, right? Yes. Did you know her voicemail password? No. Did you ever? So you didn't call and listen to her voicemail at all? No. Never? No. Never did that day or before? No. Or since? Okay. And she had never shared her password with you for the online records either? No. So you just went online to AT&T Wireless or whatever.com and just guessed her password. Well, me and Kelly Crust had just kind of figured that it would fairly be something relating to her sisters, I believe. I think it was their birthdays that got into it for us. I'm not exactly sure about what the password was. But you didn't know what her username was? No, I believe that automatically came up when you entered her phone number in. You just need the password. Okay, and that's the first time you ever tried to search her phone record or use that password? Yeah. Do you know if anybody else knew her voicemail password? I don't know that. Or if anybody else listened to her voicemails? I don't know that either. All right, by the time that Calumet County investigators arrived, I take it you guys were pretty concerned about Anne's well-being, where she was? Yes. And you knew that it was important that you provide as much information, as accurate information as you could? Yes. Did the police interview you and Scott together, or did they put you in separate rooms when they talked to you, or how did they do that? I believe we were in the same room. Okay. Now, did the investigators ask you any questions about the nature of your relationship with Anne? Yeah. And they learned that you were a former boyfriend, stayed good friends with her. Well, I believe I just said that I was a friend of hers. I don't think I mentioned that I was an ex-boyfriend. Okay. And they didn't pursue that and ask if you had ever had anything more than a friendship. Is that what you are saying? I believe so. It came out eventually. I just didn't feel that it mattered. Let me try again. Ask it again, please. Did the police ever probe further and ask if you had the nature of your relationship with her beyond whether there was ever anything more than friendship? I don't think they really probed into that. I mean, I don't remember when it came out or who was the one that mentioned that we used to date. Okay, but it wasn't talked about that night. I don't believe so. When they were trying to find out what was happening or what had happened to this missing person, right? Yeah. And if Scott was there with you, then did they ask Scott the nature of his relationship with Anne? Yeah. Did they ask any kind of probing questions about whether he was ever intimately involved with her? Objection, relevance judge. Is this a Calumet County bias? That's my question. Ms. Davis, investigative biases are relevant no matter who is doing the investigation involved in the case. I don't know if this really falls under bias. I will allow the question. Please ask me again. Did the investigators probe the nature of Scott's relationship at all to see, as to whether or not there was any kind of intimate relationship between the two of them? I don't believe they probed into it. I believe he just said that he was a roommate and a friend. Okay. So a single man living in a house with a single woman, but that was the extent of it, just roommates, yes. And as far as you knew, that was the extent of their relationship as well, yes. Scott never told you otherwise, that's correct. Anne never told you otherwise, that's correct as well. And your recollection is that you don't know when your former boyfriend status ever came up. It was sometime down, several days later. That's correct. Wasn't like the next day. May have been, like I said, I don't know when it came up. Okay, so going to the next day for a minute now, let's go to November 4th. You mentioned that, well, let me go back for a minute. You mentioned that you had this meeting sort of on Thursday night the 3rd, and that was you and Scott and Kelly. And is that it, or do other friends come over? I believe her friend Lisa was over, but not until quite a bit later that night. Okay, and so the plan was made to contact this organization, YES, the next day, make posters. No, actually, the family was in contact with YES. Okay, so that was something that came up later. Yes, on the 4th, after you had all these posters made up, you had another meeting that late afternoon or evening, Friday, to talk about where to go from here. Yeah, Friday night, after the posters were done being handed out. Okay, and you said that you downloaded satellite images and maps and were trying to figure out how to divide up different areas. Yes. All right, the word list. Scott, capital S-C-O-T-T. Anne, capital A-N-N. Kelly Crest, capital K-E-L-L-Y. New word, capital C-R-E-S-T. AT&T Wireless, capital A, capital T, ampersand, capital T. Excuse me. New word, capital W-I-R-E-L-E-S-S. Excuse me. So AT&T Wireless, capital A, capital T, ampersand, capital T, space, capital W-I-R-E-L-E-S-S. Calumet County, capital C-A-L-U-M-E-T. New word, capital C-O-U-N-T-Y. Lisa, capital L-I-S-A. Y-E-S is all caps, no periods, no spaces. Y-E-S. All caps, no periods, no spaces. And that's it for the word list, and that will conclude our 160 Q&A practice test.